I'm all alone.
I miss
There's
you.
no one here beside me.
It
But you
doesn't.
gotta have friends.
You know
That's
what I was?
me.
You know what I was thinking about today? I was just
What,
having a
Chloe?
massage before this, and there was like some classical music playing, and I was like, I wonder if this is Jack Jezero.
Are you bringing him up because we said we were gonna bring him up last week and we didn't?
No, I was thinking about it,
You're
and I
like,
was
maybe.
getting.
I mean, he has 97 different albums of all different genres, so like, realistically, it could be.
I was just like, I was like getting my massage, and I'm just like, I wonder if they got any Jack Jezero on this playlist.
Okay, well, I was also thinking, I was like, should I pick a Jack Jezero song to walk down the aisle to?
I'm screaming yes.
I probably should.
Nick would kill you.
Nick would never know.
He would never know. You're so right.
I just put a classical music song on. He'd be like, "This is beautiful." Like, he doesn't know.
He'd think back on it, and he'd be like, "Is that fucking Jack Jezero?"
And I'd be like, "So what if it is? You loved it." Welcome back, everyone. This is TG1F, an F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole. Obviously, ugly backgrounds again today. We're not out in our wilderness palace that we were last week. I wish we were, especially because I'm literally boiling in this room right now. It's so hot. This is like my
brother's bedroom.
Your brother's childhood.
Like,
I'm in my bedroom.
We've got like
parents.
freaking Bears paraphernalia, Indiana Hoosiers. It's
dead.
We've got bobbleheads everywhere.
Bobbleheads everywhere. I'm in my parents' room, and it is like, it doesn't get AC or anything up here, so it's always just like so I am boiling. But
my childhood bedroom doesn't have good Wi-Fi, which is why I'm not in there right now.
Brutal.
Priorities.
We've got a very exciting show for you today.
We do.
Later on in this episode, we will be talking to Mikaela of SheLovesF1. We have been trying to schedule this conversation for like probably a year at this point almost.
Yeah.
So like super excited to finally have her on the show, and she's just like such a ray of sunshine, like the nicest person in the entire world. So
as to be expected. I wasn't
surprised. I mean, and as is everyone that we've had on this show, like every wonderful woman that creates content for F1 is just like so lovely, and we love having them on. So it's like we're just collecting wonderful women infinity stones right now, and Mikaela is on there now.
She's on
there. She's on there. But before we hop into that conversation, let's chit chat.
Let's quick rundown of the week. Obviously, you guys may have listened to our little mini-sode before, but like let's chat a little bit more about Monaco.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, we talked about this a couple episodes ago where I brought up the fact that Max could potentially surpass Sebastian Vettel in wins in a Red Bull car, and with his past win in Monaco, he has officially won more races in a Red Bull car than Sebastian Vettel has. So that is a huge
Seb
milestone.
was there. Seb was there to watch that record get broken.
That's so crazy.
I just feel like we got like almost like no Seb content. Like we knew he was there, but he
looks exactly the same with his headband. His headband is still on. I'm so happy.
What's going on with the headband?
The thin middle school girl headband.
Not even holding his hair back though. It's like in the middle of his forehead. I'm like, what's the point? You know what's giving? You know what's giving? This is gonna be so niche. Only you and like the select number of our listeners that read Sarah J. Maas books are gonna get it. But it's giving Iron Teeth Witch, Black Beak Coven, leather strap around the head.
I'm dead. You know what? Sebastian Vettel would be a coven leader. He would be the queen of the witches. I'll tell you that.
I feel like he would be the crochet witches, though.
Okay.
Because he's nicer.
Interesting that you say it that way. I say Cochrane.
I don't say anything right for these books, and
I don't know if I'm right, though, so to be fair, I just...
It's like I know how things are pronounced, and I just will physically not do it. Anyways, back to F1. Sorry about it, guys, but I do know that plenty of you are reading Throne of Glass or like have read, so hopefully some of you care about that, about me calling Sebastian Vettel an Iron Tooth witch coven. Anyways, I don't even know how to get back on track after that.
We dive into Monaco a little bit with Mikaela.
I feel like we can probably
I just wanted to bring up that fun fact about Max.
Fast forward.
And, you know, I think the biggest thing about Monaco that I wanted to talk about was some of the celebrity sightings.
Yes.
Because that's our brand.
Yeah.
And, you know, a couple of the heavy hitters that we saw this weekend, Tom Holland, obviously waving the flag. There was a video, and I know we talked about this with Hannah on Fan Behavior, where we were talking about like the juxtaposition of Tim Cook waving the flag in Austin versus Tom Holland waving the flag in Monaco, and F1 put together a comparison video, and I immediately sent it to Hannah because I was like, this is what I meant. Like, look at this juxtaposition. It is so funny. But I'm really happy to see that Tom Holland gave it his all, because that's what you should be doing when you are waving the flag at the end of a Grand Prix. If you and I got the opportunity to wave the flag at the end of a Grand Prix,
let me tell you,
I would do it with every fiber in my being.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
I was going to say Tim Cook's a robot. Yeah.
And Tom Holland is a superhero. So those muscles are ready to go. Tim Cook is wasting away.
He had to impress Zendaya. He couldn't embarrass Zendaya like that.
I mean, you know what I would love to see a comparison video of? Tom Holland versus Adam Driver waving the flag at Indy 500.
Adam Driver's flag wave looked more enthusiastic.
I mean, Adam Driver is
2 feet taller than Tom Holland.
Like the wingspan, like the power that's in his arms is probably like double what Tom's are. But I would love to see it. Like I was dead. I feel like flag waving had its moment this week. It was a big weekend to be a flag
waving.
Let me tell you,
this weekend it peaked. We're never
it climaxed. It was a big weekend to be a flag this weekend. That is for damn 100%. Sure.
It's funny though, because, you know, I will say that I think that the celebs at the Indy 500 this year were way better than the celebs at Monaco.
So here's the thing: is I feel like we didn't see as many. Here's what I think. Here's what I'm thinking, and I feel like this is a trend that I've been seeing. I feel like this is a trend I've been seeing at F1 races recently. Is that the celebrities that have been going have been a lot more low key about being there.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the past couple races, I mean, like Elon Musk has been there and there hasn't been like a huge thing. Like Brad Pitt has been at
because
more.
No one wants to see Elon Musk.
But like, I just still feel like there has not been a lot of like chatter about a lot of them. Like Hailey Bieber was at Monaco this weekend and I didn't even
celebrity.
know. But I just feel like there's big, like I mean, she's not a good celebrity, but I feel like she's a big name right now, and like she's usually in all of the press. Like,
but again, this is why I'm saying that I think that the celebrities at Indy 500 were better because they were more front and center. They had more fun.
Yeah.
They were more notable, and so I think that it's just like it was interesting to me personally to see a historically such glitterati focused Grand Prix, as Christian likes to say, right? We had a couple years ago Tom Brady throwing the football to Danny Rick. Okay, what they did. Okay, I love Kylie Minogue, but like we had a Kylie Minogue concert, and like I just feel like it is slowly like I talk about a little bit later with Mikaela, is that like I just think that Monaco is losing its cool factor, and that it felt fun to see how many celebrities were having fun at Indy 500 and to see the like popularity of Indy 500 becoming bigger, especially in the US.
I also feel like there's been a weird thing of like consistent celebrities in F1 rather than like, because I mean it used to be so random, especially at Monaco. Like it would be like the Kardashians were there and like it was just like super random, and like all of these models would go and they but like now it's like James Marsden was there again. Like he's been at like several, and I feel like there's more of the, and like, you know, Dax Shepard now goes to like a bunch of them. I don't think he was there this weekend, but like he's at a bunch, and I feel like it's more like consistent celebrities. Like obviously Brad Pitt's working on a movie, but like he's been at a bunch, and it just feels like there's like now this like F1 clique of celebrities that are there a lot.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's very interesting to see how celebrity culture around F1 is changing, but also the fact that celebrities are being a little bit more discreet when they're there. And I'm like, what? Like, so I'm like, who else was at Monaco? Like, was there anyone else? Because I just feel like we didn't see a lot of coverage about it this year, which is interesting.
Because I don't think that there were that many.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
You know who we did see, though? We did get Charles Leclerc and his doppelganger.
Noah Schnapp
together, which was so funny to me that he was also hanging out with Charlie D'Amelio.
Bizarre.
Like,
talk about Gen Z, as we were talking about on our mini-so. Gen Z was there. Gen Z was in the building in Monaco.
Gen Z showed up and showed out. And so, like, that's why it's funny to me that I'm like, is Monaco just, like, not cool anymore for, like, people? And it's a new race. It's going to be Vegas or whatever. But who's to say? I just will say that I wasn't impressed by the glitterati.
No, it was no one that I was psyched about.
No.
Lewis Hamilton wasn't there. I mean, no,
why was like, oh,
he was there. Why do I keep doing this? It's ever since we had our One Direction talk last week. I keep wanting to call Louis Tomlinson Lewis Hamilton. Louis Tomlinson wasn't there. Niall wasn't there, so I didn't care.
Amen. All right, we obviously did the mini-sode with the girls' room.
Yeah.
Before we get into it with Mikaela, I will be issuing an apology. We did have a select few. I would say we didn't receive that much backlash, but
no,
a couple people were disappointed in how we spoke about Alex. And in our conversation with Mikaela, I talked about people projecting and, you know, not just keeping comments to themselves. And I did not do that yesterday. And I have been thinking about it and self-reflecting. And I realized that I was just projecting a lot of my relationship trauma onto Alex. And the fact that I just dislike her in the way that my boyfriend did something my ex-boyfriend did something similar to me that Charles did to Charlotte. And so for that reason, I just was being a hater on Alex, but I can two Alexes, being a hater on two Alexes, but
yeah. the name itself was kind of triggering for you, I think, is like also deep down you were like,
Did you see that recognition happen at the time that it did? And I was like, oh shit. So I think I can recognize that I was not, you know, in the right headspace to be speaking on Alex. And I will be more courteous and thoughtful moving forward. So please accept my apology. She seems great. I just didn't love her outfits. That does not mean anything that I think that she is a bad person.
Love it. I mean, I accept your apology.
Thank you so much.
If you need to hear someone, I forgive you, if that helps you. But no, I think, and here's my thoughts on her too. I'm gonna re-bring her back a little bit. First of all, I think it's very easy for us also to like look at these women that are now dating people that are like so present in like our lives, just as people that we watch, and forget that they're such young women. Like these are such young people, and like I know. And like, so, I mean, I hope also, I think the thing about her that I really respect as of right now is that her Instagram is private. Mm-hmm. And I know that she's on TikTok and she has a following there, but like, I think keeping her Instagram private is like huge for her right now. I think that's really smart of her. I think also, I'm like, I wonder like what we're going to learn if and when she decides to turn it public, because remember, Carmen was private for a while. Mm-hmm. And we were like, we don't really know anything about this girl other than what she looks like and what she wears to races. And like, that's it. And the minute that she turned it public, like, I'm sure she saw a lot of, you know, the gross kind of hate that we see being hurled at these women, but also we're like, okay, obsessed with her. So I am, you know, we're standing by on Alex to see what we learn about her. And we'll see. We don't know anything about her. We can't really make any judgments here. Other than Nicole thinks she looks like she wore some Target outfits this weekend. And I'm on record saying I liked the white dress, and I'll say it. I liked the white dress. I liked that the back was super sloping and it looked like it was made of satin, which is why I think I'm in on it.
Listen, someone was in our DMs and was like, okay, I'll remember not to wear Target dresses if I ever become a wag. And I said, listen, do you have inherited wealth? Do you go to art school in Paris? do you live in Monaco? I just expected a higher.
You're holding her to a higher standard here.
I was holding her to a little bit of a higher standard based on what I do presently know about her.
Maybe she loves Target. It's Target in Monaco, all right?
Whatever.
I personally love a Target fit, and
I do too. But I also am not rich.
If I was rich, I would probably still, if there was one store that if you were rich that is like a Target-esque brand, what that you would still shop at even if you were like super wealthy, what would it be?
Old Navy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gap. Same brand, basically. I freaking love Gap.
The basics are just too good.
To be completely honest, if I'm rich, I'm still shopping at TJ Maxx. I fucking love TJ Maxx. I'm a Maxxinista.
She's not buying core. Anything at full price. That's how rich people stay rich.
Exactly. You want to know what? Alex is just smart, Nicole. Like, she's just smart. She's keeping that wealth for herself.
Maybe we should have her on the pod as a business
honestly
mentor.
You might learn a thing or two from Alex. Okay, let's rein in that judgment. I'm a Maxxinista to my core, though, and I will defend TJ Maxx for the rest of my life. My favorite thing to do, though, is when I decide, sometimes I'm like, as Gary Vee would say, I'm deciding to garage sale 52 weeks a year, and I'm like, maybe I should sell some of my old clothes. And I go to like take photos of them and put them on like Poshmark or something, and I'm like, it makes you put the brand, and it's like, Sincerely Jules. It's like these brands that literally no one would know because it's TJ just Maxx. A TJ Maxx brand, and I'm like, no one's gonna buy this. Like,
you're like, tag is lost.
I'm like, I'm humbled right now that I do not have a single piece of like brand name clothing in my closet that would be worthy of selling on the internet. But if anyone's listening to this and you would like me to post some clothes for sale, I am currently trying to make some money for my wedding. So if you want, let me know, and I'll sell you some of my old TJ Maxx clothes.
Times are tough for TG1F over here.
Times are tough. Times are tough.
As you can tell, we're no longer sponsored by Wella either. So our contract.
Not done. That they decided to stop sponsoring us. Right. Our contract has ended. It's not that they were like, we're not sponsoring you anymore. Our contract is over.
Yes, exactly.
You literally made it sound like they listened to the mini-sode last night and also thought we were too mean, and they were like, we're pulling funding.
Sorry, no, correction. They just are. Our obligation, our handshake agreement, it was an actual contract, but
a legitimate agreement.
Our obligation with them, is over. So, we're looking for our next sponsor. Investors, potentially you, give us a call if you also want an ad spot on this podcast. And maybe you can help fund Kate's wedding. Who's to say?
Wedding sponsors, potentially you.
Okay, enough about us. We have a better conversation with Mikaela. Let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. Here we go.
Well, can I just say, this is a long time coming, though. Like this, we've been trying to get this on the books for literally ages.
Truly.
It's hard,
but it was worth the wait.
It is.
Worth the wait.
It's really hard to be three girl bossing way too close to the sun. We just have too busy of schedules, cannot lock each other down. But the time is finally here. We have the one, the only Mikaela, aka SheLovesF1, joining us on TG1F.
I'm so excited
with Kate and Nicole here today. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Like I said, all of the good things are worth waiting for. So this is so exciting. Thank you for having me. And I love girl bossing too close to the sun because it does feel like that in the F1 community.
It is honestly so hard. Kate and I are always like, how do we manage to do all of the things that we do? People are always like so amazed when they're like, oh, this isn't your full-time job. And we're like, no. Isn't that crazy how much things we have to do in a day? So it's very fun to, but we do it for the love, right? And you can relate. It's just like, it's so much fun. And that's why we're in this space because, we didn't see ourselves reflected in the conversation and we wanted to make a safe space for other women and other fans like us. So we will all put in the work if it means that the outcome is that fangirls get the respect that they deserve.
And they do deserve it. And I think like the needle is slowly moving. You know, of course, there's certain things where I feel like we're back in like 1954 sometimes, but for the most part, I think it's so great to see creators like you two and more girls talking about F1 and sports in general. It makes me so excited, and it feels so great to finally have like a community of women around me who love F1 just as much as I do and are also like willing and able to talk about it in so many different ways. I just think it's so exciting and so fun.
Yeah, it's honestly incredible. I think, it's been such a 180 from where we started a couple years ago to where we are today, to just see the influx of people within the community. I often talk to Kate about this whenever we do get, bad commentary or we hear about things happening in the larger F1 community. I'm always like, I forget that there's still these spaces that are so toxic because the community that we've built is such a wonderful place that like I forget that there's actually like the majority of the engagements are negative. And that's just like a reality check for me where I'm like, oh shit, people are actually still mean and they don't support women a lot of the times. That's crazy.
Surprise.
But that speaks volumes to the work that you're doing and the community that you've created, that you do feel that safe and that excited to just be yourself and talk openly and freely, which is something that we probably 5-10 years ago or even a year ago did not feel safe to talk about. So I think that's so impressive, and kudos to you two for just kind of standing in your own light and being really beacons and pillars for a lot of us within this community.
Literally retweet right back at you because you're doing the hard work too, and it takes a village. We always say like there's no way that we could possibly do this on our own and make space for women in the way that we want there to be. So we love that there's so many other women creators like yourself and some of the other ones out there who are doing the hard work alongside us. So thank you.
There's power in numbers, and I feel like when we started and we were like, we're not really seeing what we want to see, and now like I look around and I'm like, there's just so many people doing things, doing this and like starting podcasts or being on TikTok or having Instagrams that are like all about education. There's so many more women journalists that are now like writing about the sport in the way we all talk about it, and it's like it's so empowering to just see like how many people are now doing this, where I feel like we always talk about like representation is so important, and so I feel like there's obviously been so many women that feel the same way as all of us out there, and now it's exciting to see that now that they see women having success on the internet like as content creators and are feeling empowered enough to do that as well. It's just like it makes me so happy every time I see like a new like female run podcast or like a new Instagram account. I'm like, follow, listen, like I can't wait. Like I'm so happy to like support other people doing it because it's also just so much more fun when you like find other people to like talk to, like even us. I'm like, I just like want to talk to other women that do this and be like, are people annoying for you too? Or like, is it just us? And like, what do you like? I want to be able to talk to other people, be like, okay, so like, what are you going to do with this new Carlos thirst trap? Like, I have to know because like, I need to talk to someone about it. And it's just like so much more fun.
Yeah, like that's what communities are meant to be, and like why sports fan bases or any fan base is fun is because you have that community and you have people to talk to about and share and have inside jokes and giggle and laugh.
Yeah.
Or commiserate if you're a Ferrari fan, for example. Like it's
all of us in our Ferrari gear right now, like
deep sigh.
Yeah. Or like inside jokes, speaking of inside jokes, maybe potentially coming up with a fun nickname for a driver that then gets said by said driver on television when he gets P3 at the Monaco Grand Prix. Maybe, perhaps.
That was an out-of-body experience. I was literally on an airplane and one of my friends sent it to me and I was like, oh my God, like I've been watching the race with no audio, so I couldn't hear it. And she like sent it to me and I'm like, I put my head, I'm like, oh my God. I'm just like, what is happening right now? And I was just so excited to see like how excited he was and radiating that positivity and not taking himself too seriously. And then on national television, just to say that and put it in his bio. I mean, it's really a small thing in the in a big sea of bigger fish to fry, I guess. But it was just I think it was a big win for the fangirl community.
I loved your tweet where you were like, I'm framing this and sending it to any person who says that I'm ruining the F1 community, because it's so fucking true. It's so true. Like, this is why, and we'll get to this during bitching hour, but like, I just get so mad because I'm like, the drivers play into the jokes that we have with them. And so just because you don't have a relationship with them doesn't mean that we can't have a relationship with them. So sorry. But I just love that you were like, I have the receipts, bitch.
She's Toto pulling up to the team principals being like, I have it printed out. I have it printed out.
Capricorn right energy right here.
And all the men are Christian. They're like, don't talk to my drivers.
It's so funny. And I mean, like, I get it. Like, obviously there's, they don't have to like those silly nicknames or those kind of videos. Like, and that doesn't bother me. That's totally fine. And I think there's so many different types of content out there for so many different kinds of people. And so I just don't understand why you have to tell someone how much you hate what they're doing or how much you hate them as a person. I've just never really subscribed to that kind of mentality.
Yes.
And with so many creators nowadays talking about F1 in so many different ways, you can find something that will, work exactly for you instead of just hating on someone else.
100%.
Totally.
Okay, before we get into bitching hour, let's recap a little bit about Monaco, and just kind of go through any interesting thoughts that we have. I don't know about you. I mean, obviously you were watching it without sound. I don't feel like you probably missed too much.
Other than Yuki's radios, which I'm sure you've heard since, but that was the only audio that I was like, thank God I'm listening to this with sound right now, because this is the only enjoyable part of this race.
Anytime Yuki Tsunoda goes on the radio, I'm headphones in. I want to listen to it. Anything he does, I will defend until the day that I die. I mean, I 100%. Love everything that he does. It's so great. And like, you have to think about it. I mean, if I was driving a car very fast in Monaco, which is a very terrifying circuit, and someone was telling me to do something, I would be yelling at them. I mean, I would be feral on the radio. So I don't know how most of the time a lot of these drivers are so calm. So anytime we get like Yuki yelling or Max yelling, I love it. I think it's very relatable.
It's just like, what do you expect from these people? Like, true. I will be cooking in my kitchen, something that I don't even do that well, but I'll be doing it. And my fiance, who's a really good cook, will tell me to do something that will make what I'm doing better. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. Don't tell me what to do right now. I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, that's just cooking. And I know that I'm not even good at it. So like, if it was like me driving, like, and I know what I'm doing and someone's trying to tell me what to do, I can't even imagine how I would respond. Like, it's like, I'm like, what do you expect from these people? Like, what do you want from them? To be like, okay, yes thank you for
absolutely.
The advice.
Thank you so much.
We talked about how Yuki, last year they were like, Yuki has such a temper, and Helmut Marko even said like he needs like psychiatric evaluation and like help and to like calm down. And to that I say, hell no, because let Yuki be Yuki. It's what we love about him. And I think everyone, they hired him because he was fiery and he had
fast.
A lot going for him, and so let him just be the person that he is. It's not new, right? So
yeah I mean, like, obviously you want to be respectful to like your engineers and everyone who's working hard at the team, so I get that from one end, but at the end of the day, like, they're men who are driving very fast in very weird shaped circles, and they're focusing on 17 million things at once. So maybe cut them a little slack when they're, talking on the radio that we probably shouldn't have access to anyway, but we love having access to it.
Yeah,
100%. There was even, I was reading an article about George today where he like apologized for like lashing out on the radio, and like, then he found out that it wasn't actually even played on air and no one actually heard it. And so he kind of just threw himself under the bus. But, I think it's in the heat of the moment, we all say things that we don't necessarily mean. And just having the, foresight and self-reflection to be like, yep, I was wrong on that. It's just, I think, a good character growth, which I don't know if we ever get that really from Max, to be like, hey, actually, I shouldn't have said that. I think he stands by everything that he says.
And
hey,
honestly,
I mean,
as
he owns it. Like,
yeah.
you know, he
He's
owns
like, I said
it.
what I said.
A winner's mentality, and like, you know, there's no denying that he's a very extremely talented driver. I mean, that qualifying lap was insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw, I think we've seen Alex Albon's reaction to it and Nick DeVries' reaction to it, and we all thought that Fernando was going to get pole, and then Max somehow out of nowhere just had a banger of a last sector, and I mean, that truly speaks to how talented he is. But his radios are really fun to listen to, I won't lie.
I mean, in terms of the press, as I said, Max edged Alonso for pole position this weekend. So, you know, he really did the damn thing. So
no comment.
I was like, really, that's the word choice we're going for the headline. Like, that's what we're going for. Okay, got it.
The way that we would be absolutely annihilated.
Ever. If we ever even thought to say that.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a video that would go viral in the worst way possible, I think.
Yeah, that's something that would be cut out. That's cut out of material.
Cut outable. But truly, I mean, speaking of Monaco, and we're all here in Ferrari gear, I need to ask the question: when will the Monaco curse end on Charles Leclerc?
See, here's
will
my
we
thought.
Ever see him on the podium? Who's to say?
I will take P6 and a decent race, like where the team didn't like totally fuck him up. I'll take that as like a somewhat end of the curse, because I'm like, he finished the race, first of all. Like, that's enough for me. That's a big win, is that Charles crossed the finish line. That's the only thing I was really hoping for. And like, he got points. And so I'm like, that's kind of it. Because I feel like last year P4 was like, they just ruined it for him. So I'm like, this curse is like maybe ending. I'm feeling a light at the end of the tunnel for this. However, I do think that he may have passed on to his brother, and it's just like a Leclerc Monaco curse in general. I'm like, if it's not one, it's the other. Like, just, I don't know.
Let me get some sage and just like sage the Leclercs.
Oh, it's like so sad.
Yeah, I know, it was so tough to see the news. Leclerc takes 3 position penalty or grid penalty, and I was like, again, he can't win. He just can't win in Monaco, and he should just let it lie. He should just know that it's not going to be the weekend for him, because maybe if he just lets it go and lets the universe take control, maybe he'll eventually get what he wants out of it.
It will happen. I'm actively manifesting it into reality. And the moment that he wins in Monaco, it's going to be a great day. It will be worth
we're having a party. Everyone's coming together. We're buying shots at the bar. Like, let's go. We're flying to Monaco because I need to be there for that after party.
I can't imagine the
with
scenes.
Charles.
I cannot imagine it. I saw a video today of the streets in Monaco, and it was a whole vibe. It looks so fun. I've never been to the race personally in Monaco, but it's definitely a bucket list just because of the atmosphere of it.
I know, it seems so fun that they like DJ and like have parties like on the streets at night, like after the track opens up and everyone just kind of parties in the street, which is like seems so fun.
It looks like a nonstop exciting party for basically everyone who isn't working on the weekend. They just have to listen to it, which probably is worse. I'd be like, oh my god, can these people just go home?
Charles can hear it from his own bedroom. He's like, I'm trying to sleep and I'm trying to get some shut-eye so I can actually win tomorrow. Unfortunately, that will never be the case.
Oh my
like
gosh.
Last year, he's like, I went home and I shut myself in my house for 3 weeks. And I was like, and you were just listening to everyone having fun. I know that.
Oh my gosh.
I want to hear what song he composed that day.
Yes. I bet it's going to be a depressing banger of a
It's just a funeral
hit.
march. It's just like, this is the end for me.
Oh my god.
Like, so sad.
Do we think Carlos has any chance of a podium? No shot he has a chance at a win in Spain, but do we think Charles will podium in Spain? How are we feeling on the Ferrari boys in Spain?
Well, I think I think it's exciting. Hopefully we can have a little bit few more overtakes. That would be great. I know that they removed I know they removed the final chicane, so that that can hopefully spice some things up. And I think Aston Martin has been doing great, or at least Fernando Alonso has been doing excellent, and they love him in Spain, obviously.
Yeah.
So him winning in Spain would be absolutely epic. And it's going to be hot again. I was at the Barcelona Grand Prix last year, and it was it was so hot. So I think with it expected or forecasting to be hot again, I think, and then the removal of that last chicane, I think it's going to be spicy, spicier than Carlos Hot Chili Pepper Signs, actually.
Okay. Sorry. In terms of hotness, I mean, you were at Miami this year too. Which one was hotter?
Oh, Spain by far.
It was really
yes. Like there were, I mean, people like passing out, and there was just not a lot of shade, at least where I was, and like it was just it was kind of just a cluster, for lack of a better word. It just, I think, like many of the races last season, it was oversold, and so the guest experience was just pretty awful, to be honest with you. So I think this year it can only go up from last year, but so hopefully they have like water stations and shade and hopefully it's just not as hot. But it was, I mean, I live in the literal desert and I was not doing well. I was I was dehydrated, I was hot, I was cranky, you know, it was just like a perfect disaster of things. So hopefully it's just a little bit better on that end, but that always plays into the strategy when it's that hot out.
I mean, I'm just hoping for like an exciting race. I feel like we were talking about that after Monaco too. I was like, the fact that Max won by 30 full seconds is like, it's and that they at one point broke to show us the battle for 17th place. I was like, that this is the most exciting thing happening right now, is like who's gonna take 17th place is like so sad. And
the
like,
rain was a supporting actor, I will say that. Like, thank goodness for the rain.
Best supporting actor nominee for sure. Thank God. But for like 2 laps, and then everyone got it together. And I was like,
they were like, it's gonna rain the whole race, and it's gonna be so exciting. It's gonna be just 100% chaos. And then it was like a couple of drops of rain, and like no one knew what to do. And then it was a clusterfuck for 5 minutes, and then that was that. But I think it kind of begs the question. Like, I know Monaco has really, there's been a lot of debate about whether it stays on the calendar or not. And I think after qualifying, people were like, obviously Monaco's staying on the calendar. Like, look how exciting that was. And then we watched the race, and it's kind of, you're reminded like, oh yeah, it is what it is. So I will be interested to see the future of Monaco on the F1 calendar, because it just, I feel like also like Monaco in terms of like glitz and glamour is kind of losing its appeal with how, you know, some of the other races are kind of leveling up, and the fact that they're a little bit more accessible. People are like, well, fuck Monaco. It's not even that good of a race. Like, why would I even want to go? So, you know, I have my eyes peeled for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because there's so much history in Monaco, and everyone wants to win Monaco. And obviously it's just that history makes it a race that would be hard to see removed from the calendar. Yeah. But in terms of watching a race that's really exciting and has a lot of overtakes or potential for overtakes, you know, that's just not what Monaco is or what it ever will be. It just isn't a track that's going to allow that. So, you know, it's interesting now, especially to your point when you're talking about other races sort of leveling up, when we have Vegas coming on the calendar, which is going to be equally, or if not more glitz and glam, lots of celebrities, lots of influencers, lots of internet chatter all about that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and you know, what the future landscape of F1 looks like. And there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of opinions on either side, or I guess there's multiple sides about all of that. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Do we go with history, or do we go with like new things?
Yeah. True. And like on either side, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be upset either way. And they have to kind of deal with that, which, as we all know on the internet, people are not scared to voice their opinions. So
that's a perfect segue. Into our segment titled Bitching Hour. This is something Kate and I do pretty regularly. We don't do it on the podcast very often, but the three of us are regularly in the DMs, just, you know, complaining about, you know, all of the bullshit that we have to go through as women content creators on the internet. So we figured, you know, let's air it all out. Let's tell people exactly how it is for us and kind of just vent our frustrations about the current landscape of being female content creators in a male dominated space. And, you know, I think personally, the between us two, I think we're probably some of the most disliked female content creators in the F1 space. But I feel like in terms of like coming from men and like outside perspectives, we definitely receive a ton of bullshit. So I'd just be so curious to kind of hear how, like, what your perspective is and like kind of how you deal with it. If you found any ways that are like, you know, I've learned to just, you know, block certain keywords because I get these types of comments a lot. Or, you know, if obviously you have a husband who's maybe like a really good support system for you, but just kind of like, what is your go-to when you're dealing with these kinds of experiences?
Well, first, I just want to say it makes me really sad to hear that like you feel the dislike and the hatred from people and you receive those comments and interactions. And I'm just really sorry because honestly, I don't think there's a lot of people who know what that feels like and the toll that it can take on you personally, especially when it's, you know, like a daily thing as it is probably for you guys. I know it is for me. And so no matter how strong of a person you are, or how thick of a skin you have, which is what always people love to tell you, is like, well, you're on social media, you just need to have a thick skin. It's like, or people could just not be an asshole online. Like that would be, you know, a really great solution, a great solution to that. But of course, like, you know, freedom of speech, people can say whatever they want. And it is really disheartening to see just how negative and toxic this community can be. And you can look at any driver's comment section. Some are worse than others, but they can get really awful on the main F1 accounts, on the Team F1 accounts.
Yep.
And I think it's really important for people to remember that there is going to be someone or people that are reading those comments and you know, like your mom or your dad or some sort of person would tell you when you're growing up, like, you know, put yourself in someone else's shoes. Would you like to read that about yourself? So I think that's something that I tend to go by in social media. I always try and, you know, hype people up, be really positive and fun in the comments, because I think we both know the other end of that. And just how to deal with that, I would say, obviously, I have a really great support system in my own life outside of social media who I can go to when I need a reminder that it's just really not that deep. And social media is something that can be very cloudy, or like clouding your judgment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes when you're a creator in the F1 community, it can feel like this is your whole world. And then when people, you know, that people hate you or dislike you or are thinking negatively about you, you can internalize that really easily sometimes. And so when you have that really good support system outside of social media to remind you who you are and remind you that you are not those things, that's really advantageous and really helpful, because those comments are typically from a place of, you know, someone's own internal things that are going on with them, or jealousy, or whatever the case may be, and they're just projecting it onto you. So typically it has a lot more to do with whoever's leaving the comment than it does on you. And even though that's sad, again, it doesn't really get easier. It's not really fun. It's my least favorite part of doing this whole thing. But on the other hand, you get to connect with so many amazing people. And that's kind of what keeps you going. Like I get to have really fun, you know, inside jokes and comments with you girls and other creators and other podcasters and other people within this space. And those are the people that I'm talking to. Those are the people whose opinions matter to me, not the people who are, you know, telling me that, you know, I deserve to have my life ended because I post about Carlos Sainz's thirst trap, you know, like it's just, those aren't the people that matter to me.
You know, I think, you know, but the two of us, we love a Thirst Trap Thursday. We love a Thirsty Thursday in this group here. And I would say that's always kind of our biggest pushback, our biggest blowback from
always
other, you know, people in the community, and we always hear over and over again, stop sexualizing drivers, stop sexualizing drivers. And it's just so funny to me that nowadays it feels like we're not allowed to have a nuanced conversation or have any sort of context in which we're discussing these topics. And it's very much like, okay, if a man comes into the comments and says stop sexualizing, I take that as like they're telling on themselves about how they view women. Because if, you know, they were to post something like that, they would automatically be thinking that it was negative and that they only viewed that person in an objectifying light, and they didn't actually view them as like a full human being. And so that's kind of helped push back on me needing to respond to these types of comments where I'm like, you're not here in a good faith argument, and you are here just to cause a problem, and you just want people to get riled up and start an argument in the comment section, and it's not worth our time. I don't know if you know this or remember, a couple of months ago we did have a TG1F haters group Instagram pop up. And it was truly fan behavior. And obviously we were on fan behavior podcast this morning. But
Love
you know,
them.
fan behavior in a negative way.
Yes.
And I think what helped is, and I don't know what the restrictions are on TikTok, but like especially on Instagram, we were able to like set precautions around how people engaged with our content. Like you had to follow us to be able to comment. Okay, you had to be a follower for 6 days before you were able to comment on our posts. And so like we were able to restrict and like hide certain keywords if they were in the comments. I don't know if you have, I know you're a lot more popular on TikTok, and I don't know if there's those types of restrictions. So are there any ways, like, do you delete comments on TikTok at all? Or like, do you find people come to your defense in the comments? Then you technically can just kind of like sit back and like not have to deal with it.
It's a really good question to ask about like the monitoring or like hiding of comments or whatever on TikTok. That's honestly something that I should do, but I haven't. For the most part, like I either ignore them because truly I think they're just trying to get a rile out of you, and that's probably the wrong word, but they're just trying to get you to respond to that, and it's true, just it's never really worth it. So most of the time I just ignore it. If it's like really harmful, I'll just delete the comment. I mean, it's my social media, so if I don't like something, I have every right within me to block someone, delete something, do whatever I want to make it a safer, more fun environment for everyone who's going to be engaging with the video. And that's what's most important to me, is for anyone who's watching it to not feel like, you know, how they engage in the sport, how they talk about the sport, whether they're a real fan or a DTS fan or derogatory. I never want anyone to feel like that, because I think people can be fans in so many different ways. And I think all of our missions is just to prove that you can talk about sports in a lot of different ways, and that doesn't make you any less or better than someone. And so I just try and not engage too much, but if I do engage back, it's definitely like I try to be either really kind or really witty.
Kate always has to text me and be like, do not respond to the comment. I know you're thinking about it. Don't respond.
Do not engage.
Log off. Go for a walk. Don't touch
a little bit of grass. Like, it's not that deep. Like, we're going to be okay. I'm like, I think it gets really hard because at some point you're like, this person is like attacking my character. And like, if they're saying this, it's like, I don't believe it. But like, I also like don't want other people to think that like, I'm just going to let someone walk all over me. So it's like this hard thing where I'm like, I want to say something back, but like, then it's like, I don't want to stoop, because then I don't want other people in our community to look at that and be like, oh, you know, like they, you know, fight hate with hate. Like, it's like, I'm either going to say something nice or funny or like not say anything at all. And there's a couple of times that it's just like, it's not worth it. And like, or we can address it on our own, like on an Instagram story or something. And like, there have been times that we've like posted a screenshot with handles in it and everything. So I'm like, you said this publicly on a public forum. I'm going to show that you said this, and like you like that's not okay to me. But I just think it's like such a weird line of like sometimes I'm okay and I'm like I can handle it, and sometimes I'm like you feel like you're like that's not who I am, and like it just like there's sometimes where I just feel like it just like gets to you a little bit more, and you're like I feel like I have to defend like my character or like Nicole's character if someone's like saying something about her. I'm like that's my best friend, like don't talk about her like that, like don't do that. Like I like get so upset, but I'm like I have to, it's like, and I think that's like when you were saying like you have your community like outside of social media to like go back and be like this is real life, like these are the people that know who I am, like that's when that's so important, because it's like you could just get sucked in to like just going defense mode, and I like never want to be on the defense or like anything like that. It just like is so tiring.
Yeah. And I think truly like the best response is responding with success, responding with, you know, continuing on and not giving them the time of day, because it's truly, honestly, I find it to be never really worth it always. And just when you can really stand in your own light and be proud of who you are and know who you are, regardless of what people are saying about you and people who don't know who you are at all in real life, and they're just making a snap judgment because they think that all you do is, you know, quote, sexualize the drivers, which in both of our cases isn't the reality at all. There's so much more that we bring to the table and we offer to the table. And also, why does it bother you so much that I might find someone attractive and repost content that drivers and teams themselves have posted and the official F1 account has posted? So just being able to stand and know who you are and be confident and not let the quote unquote haters or trolls or whatever you want to call them get to you, because truly at the end of the day, I wish them nothing but the best. I hope that they find something that they're passionate about. I hope that they find something that makes them as happy as talking about F1 makes me. And I think that's the best way to handle it. And of course, like it is hard sometimes to just like hold back and not want to like defend your character, especially defend like your best friend's character, because you feel so protective over that. But at the end of the day, I think people on the internet, actions speak louder than words, and that's that.
As we like to say on this podcast, why be upset when you can just have fun? And
it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
Never.
And you know, it's just, it is what it is.
We need a little more laughter in this community.
We need a little more laughter, and it's supposed to be fun, right? And I think that's where Kate and I are always like, okay, if we ever get stressed out or like upset about stuff, we're like, this is supposed to be fun. Like we're having fun. The whole reason we started this was to like goof around and like make friends and have fun. Let's go touch some grass, because it's never that deep.
And also I know that Lily Herman is going to write a piece about this, and I feel like every time she writes words, it's like magic. And I cannot wait to hear how she says it, what she says. It's like a peer-reviewed journal article that, you know, is worthy of the New York Times. So I can't wait to...
Every time I see her, every time we hang out, we're like, can you believe these fucking men again? We can't. Like, she's like, I gotta finish this piece. I gotta do it. I gotta get it out. And I'm like, I'm waiting.
And sometimes it isn't just men too. Sometimes it is women.
No,
and that's
I'm generalizing.
That's when it hurts the most, I think, because for us, like I'm such a girl's girl. Like I really want to be there for women and support women however I can. And that doesn't mean like I'm never jealous of women or, you know, I like every woman that I've ever met, but I definitely want to be supportive of all of the women in this community. And so when it's really hard to receive those comments or DMs or et cetera from people in that community, because you're like, I'm trying to like be here for everyone, and for you not to see that, it is disheartening. But
I just want to shake them and say, did he pick you? Did he pick you?
It's just smile sometimes and move on, you know.
I know. Okay, I know we're I don't want to. I have a couple other questions, and I don't want to lose you before you have to go. Let's not end this on a negative note.
No, we're happy. We're happy.
So fun. We're having fun.
Yeah, we're not upset. We're just having fun.
It's like therapy. It is.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm so curious about what your thoughts on the future of content creators in the F1 space looks like, because I think even in the past year, we have seen such an increase in collaboration between the teams and individual content creators, whereas before it has been like not touched at all. And they're like, actively, we don't want to work with you. So like, I know, you know, in Miami, you saw a lot of success, and you had the hot lap with Alfa Romeo, and then with MSC Cruises, and, you know, so kind of working with these brands alongside F1. Are you seeing more of these conversations happen? Like, what is your vision for a perfect F1 content creator strategy?
I just think it would be really amazing to see F1 working with a lot of different creators in different capacities at different races. You know, not just people who, you know, do interviews or do this, like people who do fun content or serious content. Just having more creator partnerships within teams or within team members, with drivers. I think that's always so fun because content creators create content. That's what they do. And so if you're bringing them to a racetrack, they, number one, I think really appreciate the experience more than someone who maybe doesn't know the sport as much. And that doesn't mean that they're entitled to it or they deserve it. I just think that they have a unique lens to really appreciate that experience and to be able to capture it from a lens of someone else who would appreciate it in that capacity, which is really nice. And so I hope that we see more of that. I hope we see more girls in the paddock. I hope we see more content creators in the paddock and having more access to opportunities to interact. And obviously there's a fine line because I think the drivers themselves have a lot of media duties these days. And so to only tack on to that to do like TikTok videos feels like a lot for them. But I feel like there could just be some way around that. I don't know the solution. That's not my job, I guess. I don't know how to.
You haven't been hired to solve the content solution in Formula One?
But like, I do think that we're seeing teams having a lot more fun, really embracing meme content, and a lot of like cross-team crossovers within driver friendships. And I think that's really fun. Like you're seeing Valtteri and Lewis and Max Seal and like all of these things, and you're seeing like PRs on like the official team accounts. And so I think we're only going to see that more and more because that's an easy way to kind of like create very engageable content within the drivers just like existing and like doing their jobs without having to like, you know, go to a set space and be like interviewed by a content creator and like try to have a fun TikTok when you don't really have a relationship with them at all. Like I think that would be hard. Like, you know, F1 Ellie and her TikTok with Max was so brilliant, but I think we got that because, you know, they already had an existing relationship and you felt comfortable enough around her to do that. And so I think that's why it's so important to maybe have those content creators or have people in those spaces, you know, like Lizzie obviously is like the icon of the F1 like TikTok creator paddock right now. And so she has those relationships with them. So they feel a little bit more comfortable to like do, you know, like do a little bit sillier things that maybe they might feel people would judge them for doing otherwise.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, would love to just hear kind of like what you are working on, what you have coming up. Like we know you have your Thirsty Thursday newsletter. So if people don't subscribe to that, they obviously have to. You have your Instagram, you have your TikTok where you're like, what are you hoping for in like the next year? Like what does the next year look like for SheLovesF Formula One? What are you looking to do? Is there anything that we should be keeping our eyes peeled for?
I wish I had like really exciting, like stay tuned. I don't, but like I think just continuing to grow and evolve and hopefully have more of those opportunities, whether it's with circuits like COTA or Las Vegas, and to be able to be there like boots on the ground and create content there. It's just always so fun because the energy at races is something that's truly unparalleled, and it's something that I obviously loved enough that I wanted to create content about it. So being able to do that would be really exciting, and hopefully have, you know, try and build something where more creators are involved and it's not just seeing same people, just so it feels like it is an opportunity that is feasible for more people. I think that's really exciting and really fun. And so hopefully that can happen. And I'm just in the process of redoing my website, which is so monotonous and terrible. You guys did such a great job on your website and the rebrand and the merch and everything. So kudos to you, because honestly, that is so hard. And I don't think people realize all of the work and the time and the money behind the scenes that it takes to do something like that. And for me, it's just all about like creating free stuff for this community and for fans, whether they like me or hate me, just resources for them, whether they want to learn or have fun, whether it's astrology related or just factual related. I really just want to create, free downloads for people that they can quickly learn or quickly have fun or something like that. So that's in the works. But you guys know how long it takes to do all of that.
You're like, I'm just going to like redo my website. And like a year later, you're like, oh, I have to redo my website.
It's
and
like,
I'm still doing it.
Why is it so hard? And like, thankfully, there are so many way more talented people than I am who can help me with that, because I realized it is just not in my wheelhouse of knowledge or tools or skills to be able to do that. So thank goodness there are people out there that are really talented at that. And it's really hard to like ask people for help and trust them with something that like is so important to you and has become part of your personality. I'm sure you guys know exactly what that's like. And so like relinquishing the ownership a little bit and helping and having someone help you is a very hard thing.
I'm sure you have a lot of people within your community too who are like, understand who you are and what the She Loves F1 brand messaging and vision is. And so, I would say don't be afraid to tap into your fan base of people to like see who could possibly help you out, because they're the ones who are really going to understand what they want.
And they're so like lovely. They're like, they get F1, they get you. They're so supportive. Like I know we spent like 15 minutes talking about the terrible people, but honest to God, like the beauty and the kindness and the inspiration and the cheerleading and the laughter that really like outweighs all the negativity happens every single day. And the like, I don't like, if anyone's listening, I cannot tell you how much it means to people like me when you send a really nice message or just something that's like you're responding or you're interacting. Like nothing makes me happier than to be able to chat with you and have that conversation. And like, just, I know I call everyone my besties, but like I truly feel like it is like a best friend relationship, because it's just so fun, and like it's just an endless conversation that keeps going, and it brings me so much like gratitude and joy. #gratitude, Sir Lewis Hamilton. But it's really cool. And I think, I just want to make sure that people know that like how much that really means to me. And like just truly the best of the best.
Like people don't know that like that like actually stands out, and like we're remembering it, like we're seeing it. Like there are some people that like Nicole and I will literally text each other and be like, oh my God, this person like hasn't been in our inbox in a while. Like I hope they're okay. Like are they good? Like I miss them. Like I miss hearing we have like one girl who is like literally our friend now, who when she listens to our podcast, she live DMs us her reactions. Like as she's listening, she's like responding to what we're saying. And if she doesn't do that for a couple weeks, we're like, hello? Are you okay? Where are you? Like I've missed your like live DMs. She's like, oh my God, I thought this would like annoy you after a while. We're like, no, you have to keep doing it. Like this is our favorite part of the week. Like like people don't know it, but like when you send things, even if like we can't respond to like every single thing, like it's just the best. Like it's so fun to see like that people appreciate what you do, and it like makes every other like bad thing feel so much more like worth it if there's like one person that like gets it and it like means something too.
Yeah, the kindness and the happiness and the excitement and the joy always outweighs the negativity. And those are the people that I try to always give my attention to and think of. And so shout out to everyone of you who are angels online and who are excited and who are contributing to like the positive side of this community, the happy side of this community, the people who don't take themselves too seriously, who are open-minded like you. I can't tell you how much I'm like grateful for you and love you, even though I've never met you. Like I just, I'm like, I just love that. Like those people are the best.
Yes.
The best of the best.
It makes a world of a difference. And it's why we continue to do it every single day, because we do it for those people and not to spite our haters, despite what some people may think. All right, Mikaela, I know you have to run. too soon, if I do say so myself, but that's okay. Thank you so much for coming on.
This is not the last time that the three of us are chatting.
It needs to happen more often, and we need to have like a funny, silly conversation where we can really let our creative brains just let loose for an hour.
I know we didn't get to our like more creative conversation today. I
have such good ideas for that, by the way. Okay, so we really need to go back to it,
and then we'll come back to it in a couple of weeks and just do a quick little fun. Maybe we could do an Instagram live or something else. It could be really fun to just kind of go through that, because I'm very eager to hear what your thoughts are.
I think you guys will LOL at some of the stuff I wrote down.
Okay, all right.
I have to hear it. Okay,
we will be circling back on this.
Put
so everyone
a pin
stay tuned.
in it.
But thank you again, Mikaela. It was so great to finally meet you via video like this. But hopefully we'll get to hang out in person soon.
In Austin, maybe?
Kate's getting married that weekend. We won't be there.
Oh my God. Well, that's way more important.
Well, to be fair, we already have planned, like I will be having a TV at my reception playing qualifying.
You are such an icon. I love that. Oh my God.
Well, I was like, so many people are like, I will be watching it on my phone. So, and my fiance went to University of Alabama, and I think it's the Alabama Tennessee game that day or something. And I was like, I might as well just get a TV and make it like an activity and like put it on for people. And like, instead of everyone looking at their phones, like everyone can like feel like they're at like a tailgate.
She's not just a regular bride. She's a cool bride.
We're watching F1. We're watching football. Surprise. Apparently I'm a big sports girly.
Yeah. Shout out to the haters.
Surprise. I do love sports.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on the wedding planning. So stressful, but so exciting. And we'll have to do a part 2 of like the fun stuff. But it was so nice chatting with you girls. You're like the best. Too. We like love your light, love your happiness, and love the reminder that it's just not that deep, because it really truly never is.
Never is. Well, couldn't have said it better ourselves about you. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being on. And I'm like, I don't really know what to, I like want to keep going. I'm like, I don't know how to end it.
Keep on keeping on. You're doing amazing. I love to see your content. You're just, you're also an inspiration to us. So
likewise.
Love you. Keep it up. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye. That was very fun.
I love her.
I really didn't know how to end it because I just didn't want it to stop. And so I just feel like I said goodbye like 10 times. And I said thank you for being here so many times because I was like, I just don't know.
They were like, okay, we got to go. But like, we have other things to talk about. Like, oh my God, I forgot about this one other thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope everyone else enjoyed that conversation as much as we did because it was so fun. I feel like Mikaela is just so insightful and like such a great voice to have in this space, and like the way that she views content creation and what she's doing and her community and all of that is just like so inspiring. And I just love to have other women that we love so much in this space. What a week of collaborations for us. We were on Fan Behavior podcast today, or on Tuesday. Not today.
Today when we're filming this is Tuesday, yes.
And then we have Mikaela on our podcast. It's just, I'm feeling the love.
Hashtag girl power.
Hashtag girl power. I love it so much. So let's talk about, what else do we have really to talk about? Driver things, I guess. Nothing really happened.
I feel like we covered most of it.
The one other thing I did want to talk about that did not make the girls' room mini-sode, that I just think is freaking incredible, is that Lily He was not in Monaco, but she went to the Eras Tour instead. And all of these like gossip sites are now like, professional golfer Lily He skips her boyfriend Alex Albon's race to go to Taylor Swift instead. And I was like, yeah, mood. Yeah. She's real for that.
I would too.
And you would
She knew he wasn't going to win.
She's like, I'm sorry, he's still in a Williams.
She was like, I love you, babe, but I know you're not going to win and I'm not missing this.
She's like, I've been to enough races. Eras is where it's at now.
Please. As someone who's going to Eras Tour this weekend, I understand
I get it. As someone that's not going, I get it.
That is icon behavior, 100%.
100%. So, Lily stays top of the list of the remaining WAGs.
Always.
I I mean, I guess we said, like, I guess this is like a mini girls room right now because we didn't talk about Carmen yesterday because she bring no drama with
her. She just
her.
looked stunning.
She just looked stunning. The outfits she wore, I loved. I felt like they were a little bit understated for Carmen, but in the way that we wanted, it was very, like, chic, sophisticated, very Monaco. The outfit she wore on Saturday, I think it was, the blue and white striped skirt with the belt and the linen top.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my face.
With her hair up and her little bangs. I was like, okay.
Get out of my face.
You're giving Monaco princess.
She literally looked like a celebrity. Like, I was like, that's a famous person right there. Yeah. Speaking of no celebrities in the paddock this year, that was a celebrity.
Yes.
A celebrity
so
woman.
True. That's so fake of us for not counting her.
She looked so good. And the white dress she wore was cute. I wish she didn't wear sneakers with it, but, you know, we get it after this weekend. Sometimes you go to a long day, a day-long event, and you just want to be comfy in some sneakers. So, like, I get it. I hope she also had her Dr. Scholl's insoles in those shoes to protect those arches.
And those hip joints.
Those hip joints, hip flexors, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, baby. Like, we are protecting it all. I think Eglay was there.
K-Max.
And
Max was there with the
Louise
baby.
Louise was there with the baby. Oh my god, she's so cute.
Nico was there with his baby too, wasn't he? When was that? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I think it was this week, right? They all kind of blend together.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. So yeah, I mean, lots of babies in the paddock this weekend. Very cute. Noticeably absent was Checo's wife. I thought she would have him on tight leash this year.
Yeah, she would have been like,
I'll be there.
Maybe she knew he wasn't going to win either.
Yeah.
They were like, she was like, after last year, Christian's not.
Nah, she cut his tires. She's the reason. But I mean, nothing else really to report in the girls' room that we did not cover on our mini-sode. But if you are interested in the drama that happened, the potential breakup of Elena and S1, which we're pretty sure is 99.9% true, the potential breakup of Carlos and Issa, and the new, still holding out hope till at least this weekend, and the new coupling of Charles and Alex, you can listen to our mini-sode that came out on Monday to get all the tea there. And again, listen with a grain of salt, as you know that Nicole is sorting through her own trauma.
At least I can reflect enough to know.
Exactly. That's called growth. That's called being a good person.
I can recognize that I needed to have an adult moment and I was not being fair because I had my own shit.
We all have our own shit. You never know what someone else is going through. And so don't judge anyone and don't judge Nicole.
And I won't be judging Alex.
Benefit of the doubt is innocent until proven guilty.
Amen. All right, we got to get out of here. This has been an entirely too long of a podcast.
Far too long. No manifest minute this week. I'm deciding. No one sent us anything in.
We don't have anything pressing. We'll be back next week.
Until then, we'll see you on the frickin' internet. Bye.
Bye.